the official servers. Uh-oh. This is like the Olympics for people with very slow reaction time. Okay, so we've got a rogue attacking a guy through a wall so he can't use his abilities. And he's has evasion on while the mob's attacking him from behind so he can't dodge. And he's just aggroed a third mob. Isn't that bad? Oh, he turned around.
Can they shoot through here?
Oh, he turned around. Oh, wow.
Why can they shoot through that shit? Wait, I don't have vanish. I'm dead. I don't have vanish. LOS. Oh my god, I don't have vanish. 4 seconds. I fully panicked.
All right.
I go sleep, guys. I don't care. I'm going to sleep.
That was impressive. Zico really got fucked here. He really got fucked.
Fuck, he's not gonna walk into it.
This was his first AoE pull, by the way. Dude, look at this damage.
Angle. It's a spellbook angle.
You know what the funny thing is? If he didn't move up like that, he probably wouldn't have died. I didn't even know that non-bosses could thrash like that. I had no idea that could happen. I thought that was only a mechanic for bosses.
Bro. They got the fucking double crit, man. He died on the first pull, dude.
On hardcore. They did say they were gonna improve that.
Oh goodness.
You're okay. Oh, potion!
Oh my gosh!
Is that who I think it is?
Why didn't you heal her?
I thought we were clear.
I don't think any.
Jesus.
I think yours LOS, to be honest, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's good that he's playing in first person. That's smart.
Like, outrange the shit, but...
Isn't this the guy from Death Note?
Does that work? Nope, they have more range than I do. And they have a fucking... healing wave, bro. Bro, what the fuck is this? Wait, it's level 11. What the hell? I only just realized that.
You know what's... Oh my god. You know what's funny to me is this guy who's playing in first person mode probably still has better like map awareness than most of the people that play classic WoW. Yeah, you would have been dead anyway. Don't worry about it. Care on the pulls.
That's no good.
Uh-oh.
Try and get this guy.
Okay, good interrupt. Oh, we got the pack coming in. Uh-oh, is he gonna get aggroed? Of course he's gonna get aggroed. There it is. Oh, is he going to the healer? Absolutely, he's going to the healer. Healer fades. There it is. Finishes off the first guy. Good damage. Get on that Void Walker minion. That's the real fucking danger here. Okay, there we go. Get on that cultist. Big damage. Where's the heals? Okay, that's one heal. He's probably got one heal left. He's out of mana. Uh-oh. The tank's gonna die. Tank's dead. That's it. It's over.
What's going on?
Okay, Frosty, you gotta run away. Run away, Frosty. Bro, isn't tanking in hardcore so fun that you die because of a fault that's not even your own? Time to restart your character. Oh, he just went offline. But he just barely made it out. The character? Yeah, eventually I will. Cody, I haven't made one yet. Ooh. Bro, what's he trying to do? This guy thinks he can handle a level 18 crab? You cannot handle a level 18 crab.
Oh putain, je vais mourir. Oh non.
There's no way. You're done.
Non.
You're done, man.
Oh la dinguerie. Oh putain.
What a mistake.
Ah.
Fuck, where's the entrance?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
We got Sony.
I'm so fucked.
How the fuck has Sony played this game for 16 years? He's doing this. You know, this guy used to be a vengeful gladiator. What the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing? Why are you there?
No way.
How did he get in this situation? I don't know. Where's he go?
Are you serious?
Oh, he was close too. That's level 20? Oh my god. You can't win them all.
Why are we in there?
Guy's dead. Still getting hit. How am I gonna hit so?
To be fair, Sony usually played Horde. Okay? To be fair.
I got it.
Oh, you were black.
This is true.
Oh shit, Max Knight first aiding. Oh fuck. Snipe.
We might just
Ooh, really good hit there.
No, we're okay.
I don't know.
Don't
we're
run.
okay.
Don't stand your ground. Stand your
I
ground.
am, but
Oh god, he watched the fucking videos. Oh god, he's seen the videos. Oh no.
like
Right.
this is the Void Walker minion
Right.
that kills people.
He's not in Texas.
Stand your ground.
Just go kill him. Just go kill that guy. Good. There you go. There you go. We got the potion.
I'm gonna die.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm literally gonna die.
Boom.
Where's he going? Bro, he already respawned.
I wanna die.
Alright, I'm gonna send you 1 gold, 20 silver. I'm gonna keep 30 silver.
Oh my god, dude, Fizzle respawned.
Fizzle respawned. Fuck.
We'll put a tiger's eye. A greater magic one I'm gonna keep on me because I'll level up.
I don't know why, but this just feels so good to watch this. Just two fucking idiots. The dumbass orc running around Duratar at level 9. Trying to avoid the Kodos. It feels like so like quintessential WoW. It's so cozy.
That thing's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That's gonna kill me too.
Where the hell did it go?
He's gonna get hit by the electricity, right? This is gonna kill him and like...
I got a shield for you.
If I'm in the same guild as an insect.
I got weakened soul.
Ooh, that's another one. Right here, right here.
I'm so dead.
No, we're not.
No.
Shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake.
Alright guys, so this is how you do it. When you run up to an elevator in hardcore, you
How long does we can still have left?
It's off, it's off, it's off, it's off, it's off.
Why did you turn around?
Ah, keep going, Ray.
I got you.
Keep going.
No way. No fucking way they survived.
Heal me, heal me, heal me. Pop a heal, pop a heal.
that died to that elevator.
Why he just keeps turning around?
Single day. It's not worth it. Just wait.
Alright, I think now we gotta fight.
We fight 2 of these?
We don't have to. We got one.
Oh god. I'm gonna be honest, yeah, that was the priest, man. That priest is a fucking legend. Oh my god, that guy was a fucking wizard. He was so good. Hey, I want to play. What's going on over here? Oh, hey guys. Hey. Maybe go bear form? I don't think it matters. Yeah, he's dead. 40 seconds on potion too. Bro, some of these fucking people. You can tell this guy's a serious WoW player. He's got an anime dancing girl and he's listening to Korn. Yep. Oh, heal, 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 heal. You're good, you're good. Remember whenever S-Fan died here? Dude, that was fucking close. This dude is a fucking legend. He didn't freak out. He didn't do anything. He went down to 10% health. He said, okay. Yeah, he just said, okay. That's it. Stand your
Holy
ground.
shit!
Yep.
Oh my god, man. He resisted. Resisted.
Why would you do this one?
So much stuff in here. So many things. My son just come with stuff in here.
Fuck. Did I make the jump? Oh no. Man. How am I so unlucky?
No way.
No. Yeah. Ooh. Mm.
He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. Damn. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like seeing people clutch it up. These are pretty fucking impressive.
Guys.
Oh, and this is what's going on over in retail World of Warcraft. Well, let's get back to the real game. Anyway, I do really love seeing people clutch it up. It's so impressive to me. Yeah, this is fucking... Oh, it's so good. Wow. Let me link you guys the video. Classic hardcore. The WoW gold seller reveals just how bad the situation is.
So ever since I made my video about the dark gold selling underworld of classic WoW, a number of people have come forth with even more shocking information that will make my original video look as innocent as Sesame Street. This rabbit hole goes much deeper than you think. We've barely scratched the surface of just how disgusting the RMT world
Oh, look at that. It's a bunch of completely legitimate players.
is. I've been
A bunch of
lucky
Lost
enough
Ark
to,
enjoyers.
one, interview a long-term gold farmer and seller who is in the business for 10 years and has a very eye-opening perspective
Holy
on the industry
shit.
with a lot of insider information. 2, a gold selling website themselves agreed to do a written interview, meaning they didn't get on voice with me, but they
Yeah,
did
no surprise.
write answers to my
Yeah,
questions. And this has provided a keen insight into how the website and the kingpins of the industry enact their enterprise.
Okay.
On top of all this, some of the biggest GDKP group leaders have come forth to reveal
I could just PayPal to you guys with what I buy, add and remove gold from the equation completely, to be honest, because all I do is swipe card, buy gold, but items.
even more shocking truths than what I researched in my original video.
I get a fair amount of big buyers that ask me that. Yeah, I bet they do. Used to charge people IRL money just for a spot.
Pots are even bigger than what I thought, and it's gotten to a point
What?
where people are just PayPaling real money to GDKP leaders instead of sending gold because gold in the game has become so worthless and deflated. But for now, grab a beer and some popcorn because it's time to fully reveal the inside life of a gold seller. So the most interesting part of interviewing a gold seller was learning about how the hustle has evolved over time. Red Mage, who agreed to do the interview with me, started gold selling in the original Burning Crusade expansion.
Jesus, bro, this guy's been doing it for 15 fucking years.
Originally, he had a fairly basic factory job. He also inherited a cat from somebody who was too ill to look after the cat, and the cat itself had a number of health.
Ozzy kid. Watch some Baki. buddy. Mushroom Bucky. Actually, I don't even think I could. I'm not even gonna take the chance. Nobody. 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 Okay.
The Exile and kind of doing a review of it, how I felt about it after reaching the end game finally and experiencing everything that the game has to offer and kind of how it relates or compares to Diablo 4. And I'm kind of lost as to how to set it up. So you know what? We're just going to talk about Path to Exile and why it's just a badass game. How about that? So the first thing that'll start this off for me is there's 7 different classes that you can play. There you see them right there. You got Witch, you got Duelist, you got Bogal, you got Scion, Barbarian-like guy, Templar, and some other gal here, like an assassin type class. That's already a plus. There's 2 extra classes. I played a little bit before the season started, and then I actually started with a Scion, old Heine right here, and I just realized real quick that that wasn't gonna work, so we went Linda. Couple of base things about the game everybody touches on. You know, you gotta go ahead and have to get these out of the way. The graphics, game's 10 years old. Graphics are great to me. The gameplay is great. The mechanics are good. The sound effects, all of that is phenom. If you have headphones on and are immersed in the game, you can hear like things off in the distance. You can hear screams and whispers and just things that complete the dungeon. The music is absolutely epic. So it's like, reminds me of Diablo 2 music, where everybody knows the Tristram music if you play Diablo 2, the dun, 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 dun. Well, it's the same thing with this. You know the dun, 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 dun. I played the game for 2 weeks and I kind of know the song already. It makes me play like air loop. You know, I mean, there's just multiple songs. I wish I could have it on a soundtrack, to be honest with you. I like the music. It's epic, intense, fun, all of that. So, you know, a lot of the guys are like, Hog, you made me turn the damn music back on. I forgot how epic it was. It really is really that good. Other things like the UI is real nice, as you see behind me. 10 skills, that's real nice. You know, 5 here, plus 3, so 13. Really is truly an ability to play your own way. Your skills are used with gems. So in Diablo 4, we actually had your tree, and let's say Pulverized had, you know, basically 1 modifier. You had 2 modifiers on there, but 1 was a forced modifier, right? So you had Pulverized and you had Overpower and then something else. Done forgot about all that. Well, here you pick what you want. So, like for example, I got Holy Flame Totem, and I got multiple totems behind that. So now I cast more than 1 totem, and then those totems also stun. They also add cruelty, and they've got increased critical strike and increased critical damage. Just a small taste of what you can do. Something else that was real cool to me was cast when damage taken. You have like triggers. So if you don't feel like worrying about casting something, so for example, I got like, I don't know if even know if this, well, I know it works. Steel Skin and the Arcane Cloak, when I take damage, those 2 things cast automatically. I don't have to worry about it. But little simple things like that. If you look at it and think it's too complicated, just relax, take a step back, because it really ain't that complicated. Really, something else that I liked was the ability to use a potion. That's huge to me, because in Diablo 4, like, you have to use basic skills and generators. You don't have to use that in this game. They believe in cast when you want, as long as you have the resource. And if you don't have the resource, you just use a potion. It's kick-ass. Potion charges refill when you kill stuff. So there's really no cooldowns either, which is, I hate cooldowns, so this is like the best thing ever. DM said it best. You know, I'm working on this video while he's released his. It really is everything that we wanted Diablo 4 to be. You know, me and him had talked privately, and he said the same thing to me in private. He said, you know, it kind of pissed me off because it's everything that I wanted. I said, yeah. Because the big thing to me was, I remember telling my group of friends that I played with, I'd pay $20 in the shop for a hideout. Well, guess what? We got a hideout for free. Here's my hideout. It's fully customizable. I love this right here. Click on edit. You can mess around, do whatever you want. A couple of things to highlight. You can actually craft
people quitting Diablo 4.
any kind of thing you want. Look at all these attributes you can put on there. You can take them off. You can reforge items, reset items. You remember in Diablo 4 and everyone's complaining like, what's the point of having these white items in the game? Well, in Path to Exile, we got this white item right here, and we want to make it something badass. Well, we've got these things called essences. Gloves, 60 to 69 in max life. Okay, guess what? That makes it a rare. Puts attributes and stuff on it. Look, now we got a 3-link glove that's got armor, energy, shield, bunch of attributes, 11 to strength, all this. Okay, so everything's got a use. Brings you to your stash, right? So we complained about the stash in Diablo 4, Path to Exile. They want you to have organized stash, and this is where some of the in-game monetization comes in. You can go to your shop and actually buy premium stash tabs. It's right here. They do have a sale on these a lot, and so you'll see gem stash tab, flask stash tab. God, I can't talk.
Get that shit out, fam.
That's what we got here. You have a bunch of different currencies in this game as well, but they also do other things like reforges a rare with new properties, normal item to a rare item, all kind of different things that will help you modify gear. And then tab for your in-game stuff, which is maps. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Oh, shit.
Essences, which again, a modify, I just showed y'all that. Oils, cards. Y'all, there's so much to this game. It's unreal. And it's not that it's overwhelming, it's that there's a lot of content. And a lot of times people take that as being overwhelming. You don't have to do all this content at once. You just take it in little bites. That's all it's designed for. The big thing that I felt with this game was there's multiple games in one game. So once you're actually done with the campaign, you're done with that game and you start a whole nother game. So this is what I mean. When you get to the end game, you have this thing called the Atlas. The Atlas passive skill, and then you have like the actual
I didn't
Atlas,
even unlock that yet.
which is this right here. Which I hadn't messed with a lot, but these are different maps that you can... I don't even know. To be honest with you, but there's so much. Yeah, there's a battle pass, obviously. You can actually customize what you like to see happen in a specific dungeon. So think Nightmare Dungeon, but times 8,225. This is what we wanted in D4. I wanted a hideout. I wanted a guild stash. So I always call them clans, but they call guilds over here. We have a stash where the whole guild can put their stuff in and share. We have a whole nother hideout, which I hadn't really messed with. But it's little things like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of these stash tabs that I've gotten for quality of life increase, you don't have to have these. You can organize stuff yourself. But I've spent less money. I spent $50, which is less than the cost of Diablo 4 on a free game. And this is all you need to efficiently run the game, really. I mean, you can play the game without it, but to have good quality of life and all this, and just to point out some other things that we were missing out, is you can actually do these things called affinities. So like if I have a gem in here, and I want to assign it to this specific one, you know, I can make it gem tab, make it a certain color, and then set the affinity. So when I have a gem over here, I just click it over, and boom. it only goes in this tab. So gone are the days where we had to sit and complain, where we couldn't try multiple builds or do multiple things or this or that or whatever, because we were limited with stash space. It's all in here, and you can always buy more for a very low cost, and they're always running sales. It's just, there's always, the content is crazy. Once you get to the end game, you have these things called maps, which think of like Nightmare Dungeons, but there's really badass modifiers on them. You can modify these even more, veil orb them, or do whatever the hell you want. There are unique ones that drop. You see here item quantity, item rarity, monster pack size. This is badass. You can run just magic ones, you can run normal ones, which they recommend not to do, or you can run these rare ones right here. So this is really badass here. People are trying to message me right now while I'm doing this. You have NPCs in your hideout. But not only do we have that, we have the bestiary place, which is another kind of side game inside the game, where you can come in and create things. So you know, as you do the campaign or mess around in the world, you'll find these beasts right here, and then you can use them to craft. You know, if I need 2 orbs of binding, I can just spawn this thing, kill it, and there they are. Get unique items, create a unique item, create a unique blast, staff, any of this stuff, right? So that's another aspect of the game. I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's content galore. It's not just you get bored of farming the tree of trash, you can go do something else that's on a timer, but it might not be there. Like, there's none of that. Everything's available to you at all times. You always have shit you need at all times. You always have the resource you need, an ability to cast skill. I thought it was really funny when Rod said power fantasy is really the Diablo thing. No, it ain't. This is all about power fantasy. And so a big thing I want to point out is the passive tree. A lot of folks get overwhelmed with the passive tree. They say it's too much for them to handle. I think something that would really help out for them to implement, maybe in PoE 2, if they want to retain players or increase the player retention metric or whatever, put some kind of fog of war around these certain nodes, because people don't realize that witch spawns here and another character spawns here, another character spawns, like, that's where you start on the board. If you have some kind of fog of war over this until a certain level, they would say, hey, don't worry about the rest of this tree, because you're not going to use that, or whatever the wording would be. The developers know better than I would. That would help the players out tremendously, because I know the first time that I ever experienced this game, I got off the beach, got into town, hit the passive tree, and I uninstalled it. It was too overwhelming. But if you take this in small bites and just almost zoom in to where you start and just start there, it's not that bad. Once you get to about level 20, you're home free, the way I say it. If you just take your time and read everything, that's another really nice thing about this game. They tell you everything, and then you can hit Alt for more info. But everything's explained. Like Herald of Ash, okay? Grants a buff, providing fire damage based on your physical damage. Like, everything is spelled out for you. You don't have to ask. You don't have to wonder. It's all there for you. Really wanted to kind of reserve my opinions for after I'd experienced just about everything in the game. They have little things like the mine. Here's another in-game activity that you can do. We have heists that you can do. It's just a never-ending. You can just do content forever until the next game comes out. The cool thing, speaking of the next game, the really cool thing is to show they're not predatory in their practices of microtransactions or whatever, because there is no pay for power, pay to win, or whatever. It's just pay for convenience, pay to look cool. They're going to let everything that you've paid for in this game transfer over to Path of Exile 2. So that's another positive for grinding gear games. I've been really impressed with the lack of predatory feel of this game. It just feels like they want us to go have fun. So DM said it best. I 100% agree with him when he said, this is everything that Diablo should have been. This is everything we wanted it to be. They've never told us to manage expectations, and if you really want to go even farther, if you really, do your own investigating or whatever and start comparing patch notes. The patch notes on this game are pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages long, and Diablo's like 2 or 3 pages. So they talk about 13-page patch notes like that's a big deal. Well, that's like an average PoE patch. Sometimes a hotfix. So anyway, it's really cool. The only negative that I have, and I do have one negative out of the whole thing, and it's the mapping system. So it ties in with the quests here, but it's just very misleading, and a lot of the new players, are just kind of iffy about it. But so example, like let's say it says go to the ship graveyard. You can actually go to the ship graveyard, and it says, well, if you look at this map, I would assume it's northwest from where you come in at the waypoint. It might not necessarily be northwest. It might be northeast. And another issue that we had, a big one, was the ruin square was really impossible to get around. And then the bathhouse, wherever that was, that one drove me absolutely insane. I forget where that one was. Right here, this one drove me insane too. But some of the problem is that if it says go to the Solaris Temple, and you have an area like right here that has multiple areas you could go, sometimes, like here, the tunnel, behind the tunnel's the quarry. Well, it doesn't say go to the quarry. It'll say, let me not mix my words up. It'll say go to the quarry, but you won't know that you got to go to the tunnel first. There we go. So you'll be looking around for the quarry, not knowing, oh, I got to go to the tunnel. And then when you go to the tunnel, then you'll find the quarry. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a little confusing trying to find your way around. And I know a lot of the veteran players had said, you'll figure your way out. You'll do it. You shouldn't have to figure out a map. I don't know. But to counter that, the mini map system is really cool. So you have your overlay and you have a mini map system. So where the Diablo developer said no overlay because it'll take away from the beautifulness of the world, well, this one lets you have an overlay, but guess what? There's all kind of options. This game's all about options. Options. So if we scoot over, do a little live scooting,
Where's the cast?
you'll see all the options here. You actually have a loot filter. That was really nice. You can disable the tutorials. You can change the cursor size and color, which is really nice. No more having to use yellow mouse. And map transparency inside. So you can actually make your mini-map really big, take up the whole screen, be full. You can take away the landscape, make it outline.
Had to do still
a little mixture of both. And you can have the map really
this
tiny.
Might be cool.
So options. They want the player to be happy. You can change your keybinds, notifications, all of this stuff, everything you need. It's everything that I wanted. DM was right. I agree 100%, but it's everything I wanted in Diablo 4, and it's right here for free. And I think that's why we've seen y'all. I mean, God honest truth, here lately on Twitch, sleeping and chess has gotten more views than Diablo 4. Almost combined. Pretty sad. Path to Exile has a lot of viewers right now. It's a brand new season. Highly recommend. Go check it out. It's a badass game. I love it. I could see myself playing it for a long time. Now, there are times where you get frustrated with it. Just take your time. Don't let things overwhelm you. Reach out to somebody in the community if you need help. So that's another nice thing about the Path to Exile community is everyone's been real welcoming. Everyone's been real nice. Helps out.
I like it. I got them subbed.
I wanted to sit down and make a video about Path to Exile, and
that's cool.
What up, though, y'all? It's your boy, Bilton. I appreciate everybody, man, for liking, commenting, subscribing. We almost at 100K. Once we get to 100K subscribers, I am going to do a $1,000 giveaway to random people. I'm going to go live, and I'm going to pick 10 random people to give $100 each to Cash App. I'm gonna do it right then and there on the spot. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Clips today, but this very first one that I am very excited about. I have been telling people, especially the young people, for the longest that the street life, the gang culture is not worth it. Damn, I got this cord all in the way. That the gang culture is not worth it. There's no point in joining these things. Just do the right thing, live life. Now, I got some people that is a part of gangs. I got clips of people breaking down the culture and breaking down how it goes. So you would think, okay, Blood, Crip, GD, BD, whatever it is, you decide to go join this gang. You're dedicating your life, your loyalty to these people. But what if you were placed in a situation where over time it turned into something where we don't give a damn if you this gang. I will still kill you and still be a part of this gang. Let's just get to the video. They asking him, how are you BDK, but you a BD? So he publicly, multiple times, proclaimed to be BDK, which means Black Disciple Killer. But he publicly lets it be known that he is a Black Disciple. And let's hear his explanation on it.
But J-Man, stop dissing, folks. We on some 2020 shit. We grown now, bro. It's merch. A lot of J-Man, how you BD as hell, and how you BD, but you BDK, and how you BD, but you BDK.
Now that do sound a little strange, I ain't gonna lie, because it's like if I dedicate my life and my loyalty to this gang, it's like I'm ready to do something to anybody that's proclaiming a K behind my gang. But that's what's going on now.
Is you from Chicago? Do you know what's going on? If a BD ass clap along with, and let's just say I'm with a BD. We two BDs walking, and another BD clap this BD. But this my homie right here who he clap. You don't think I ain't BD came for them? BD came for them.
But that's crazy though. I understand the explanation, but it makes me wonder what's the point in even joining this stuff? Especially for the younger people now that's not a part of nothing and they just trying to follow a trend. Folks, what's the point? This man said, if I'm with a BD and another BD come clap this BD, which means whack him, but the thing is, how can he even do that if we the same game? That's the point I'm making by telling you times have changed. This shit is not what you think it is no more. Do the right thing, folks.
How many dollars?
Still BD, because I ain't no folks flagging, flipping ass, pancake ass, and I still be with folks now. You talking about, and who gonna do something? I can answer that for you. Nobody. Nobody.
You feel me? And that's like, to me, in a sense, that's almost like a renegade type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, bro, it ain't no structure no more, bro. I remember years ago, T Grizzly and Lil Durk did a song called "What Your City Like," and I really liked the song. And Durk said something, bro, that I never forgot. Everybody love to, scream Chicago this, Chicago that when it comes down to GDs and BDs. But he said something, bro, that's sad. But when you think about it, it makes me feel like, what's the point? T Grizzly said, "What your city like?" Asking Durk. And Durk said, "I'm from the city where we do not honor no OG. We smoke you, then turn you to OG." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, it's almost like at this day and age, there's no point in that shit, bro. I honestly feel like it's no point in doing it, bro. It's no point. No, it ain't no loyalty. Like, it's just so you're a part of a gang saying you killer to your same gang, but it's somebody in the gang specifically, but you saying it like labeling the gang, but you're claiming this gang. To me, that's just crazy, bro. Here's another video that I found on Cam Capone News. Big shout out to his channel. It just further proves my point. Now, the first guy that I had, the clip that I got off of TikTok, he was saying that, and a statement he made was, "Are you from Chicago, where you don't really know what's going on?" You know, so I guess it's more so in Chicago, or maybe it started in Chicago, just that type of renegadeness. But here is some proof that it's not even got nothing to do with just BD and GD, and it's bigger. It's going on in more places than Chicago. Here's some more proof. This, I guess this guy's a rapper named Hot Boy or something. I don't know, but I seen to check him out.
What type of games do they have out there?
They got all type of games out there.
Like Bloods, Crips,
GD, BD, Vice. Well, we ain't got no Vice Lords. It's different. Like, that shit different out there. Like, in Dallas and shit like that. Like, that shit different. It's neighborhood shit that the world don't know about. Like, it's neighborhoods, niggas bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't part of no nation or nothing. We renegade with everything type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we renegade, we bucket. Crips and Blood, I don't give a fuck what you is. You can be the same thing as me. We can get on it. It's different in Texas. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no unity.
He said you could be the same thing as me.
Sounds crazy.
I don't care. We can get on that. We renegade. It ain't no unity. So what's the point of joining these gangs? Why we setting our young youth up, bro? Guiding them to join these gangs, knowing what's the end result, bro?
You know what I'm saying? If that's your hood, that's your hood. Niggas gonna bang with they hood. They hood might be Blood. They hood might be Chris before. It's like how it is out here. It ain't like that. It's renegade. You know what I'm saying? It's every man for itself type shit.
So gangs don't really get along with each other out there at all?
I wouldn't say gangs, hoods. You know what I'm saying? It's hoods type shit.
So it's more about your hood?
Yeah, it's more about your hood. You know what I'm saying? It's more about your hood or your clique. It's different cliques and shit. It can be Blood. It be all type of shit in one clique. You know what I'm saying? All these niggas, Bloods, Crips, BDs, GDs, but they all in this clique. And they from this side. You know what I'm saying? And we from this side and we in this clique. So it's fuck they clique. And me and him can be both two of the same type of Crips, but it's still fuck him because he on y'all side.
What sense does that make? I mean, I understand it. I understand what he's saying, but I'm asking the people, the younger people, because the rappers, the entertainers nowadays are like the role models. That's like who the youth is looking up to. If they ain't say it, it's like they ain't going for it. What sense does that make? We can be the same type of Crip, but since he from that hood, it's fuck him too. Y'all young brothers, please stop joining these gangs, bro. Just do the right thing. Now, everybody knows Crip Mac got a tattoo on his forehead that says Hoover Killer. If you don't know, Hoover is a set, it's a particular type of Crip, and Crip Mac is a different type of Crip, so he's saying Hoover Killer. You know what I'm saying? That's a big target. I remember when I interviewed him, I asked him, like, bro, like, especially when you go to jail, like, you know, people see that it's just smoke on site, whenever, however. And this is an interview of him explaining how he has to deal with family members that he has that's from the Hoover set.
A lot of people might be surprised to know that you have cousins from Hoover.
I do have cousins from Hoover. I got cousins from Hoover.
Now, the reason why I say people would be surprised is because you have a deep hate for Hoover.
Yeah, but at the same time, these are my older cousins. That's where they've been from since they was kids. You know, they grew up over there. So that's just where they from. Okay? I never, when I was young, I used to see them all the time. We never grew a hate. Now, my cousin that's a year older than me is from 6-0. He's from Neighborhood. So it's like, it was going to see Neighborhood, and then my other people on Husky's in here from 6-0, come from 6-0. You hear me? So it was like, it's 6-0. That's when I was younger. You find me, I was banging that on Hood. So it was going to see Neighborhood regardless how that shit went. You know? But I can't, like my mom said, I can't go to no family reunions because all my cousins from Hoover. Because my aunties is like, well, you know, your cousins they cool until they start this shit. They start the alcohol. That's when they start getting disrespectful, this and that. You know, but we still, you know, we still Crip line. We still got the same blue Crip in our veins.
That man said we got the same blue Crip in our veins. But bro, can you just imagine? You can't even go to a family reunion because your cousin is one particular set of Crip, and you are I mean, I don't know, bro. I guess everybody got their own different reasoning. But to me, you know, when I think back to how this stuff used to be and how it is now, it just makes me look at it like it's no point, bro. I'm not disrespecting nobody, throwing shade to nobody, but I just look at it like, well, no. Yes, I am. I am throwing shade to the older people that know better, and they know what this lifestyle brings, and they're constantly feeding it to the youth that don't know no better. They're not even giving them another opportunity to do nothing with their life. They constantly feeding them this gang bullshit. Yeah, all shade to them. That's no cap. But I want y'all opinions on that. 20%. I want to know what y'all think about that.
Damn. Fuck with it. Fuck with it. Fuck with it. Oh, I forgot Skip and Shannon, right? Nah, I'm not even gonna do that. I know that shit is copywritten.
KG got drafted to the Spurs, and Duncan.
Let me see.
Minnesota.
I mean, I guess who would have won the most championships?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So not really.
Do you think the talent changes?
No, it's KG.
It's KG.
It's KG.
What do you think about that? Because you guard both of them. Like, what changed? Y'all got Tim Duncan fucked up.
No, y'all got no. Y'all not realizing Tim. The team Tim got. You know, you got it's David Robinson. You got
so Tim Duncan's only good because of the
Sean Elliott. Mario Elliott.
Still a Hall of Famer.
Came on the,
he's still a Hall of Famer.
No, I'm saying so he's only good because of the system. Just say that.
No, he's still a Hall of Famer. No. No, he's still a Hall of Famer.
No. Right. So he's only good because of.
No, he's still a Hall of Famer.
Right. The system is the
when
coach.
did he get drafted?
The system is the coach.
95 and 97.
No, Tim Duncan 90.
95 and 97.
97.
Asking the question. Is it because of the system? Is that
95 and 97, right?
No, but what I'm saying is he has when you're saying winning the championship, you put KG there.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about the team he's coming in on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's coming in on a team that was number one team.
KG, as we sit here,
Tim Duncan. Nah, because KG wouldn't play.
He wouldn't be the four.
He wouldn't have played like Tim Duncan because Tim Duncan was National Player of the Year. He was a 4-year college player.
Fair. It would take a couple of years.
You know what I'm saying? He was seasoned.
So KG
was ready for that position.
KG would have been at that spot by 97, hypothetically.
It took KG 2 years.
No,
but
he would have been at that. If you switch it, but what I'm saying is if you switch him, you got one who's coming on a team that's already dominant, and he's just a fill-in piece, right?
Talking about Tim?
Tim. Versus KG coming onto a bad team, and he has to work himself up and build that.
You
team.
still put him next to David Robinson.
Yeah. You're still putting him Sean Elliott, David Robinson.
Whose fault is that?
Nobody's.
Nobody. But I'm just saying, like, y'all making excuses like, well, if he was here, it's like, well, I mean, what you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do as a player? But what do you want me to do? Well, don't go here. Don't draft me here. Draft me to the sorry-ass team so I can prove it.
No.
I mean, shit.
Think about 99% of number one picks are going to bottom-feeding teams, where you have to build that legacy yourself. Then there's these greats that they're considered top 10, top 20 players of this game, that when you look at where they got drafted to a team that came out the gates winning 60 games. So their legacy.
Can I see that proof? Can I see that proof with Tim Duncan? Yo, can I see that proof with Tim Duncan teams before he got there? I want to see their team before they got there.
Number one.
I want to see the Spurs teams before Tim Duncan got there.
The year before they got them, they were nasty.
No, the year before that.
Okay.
Like 3 or 4 years before that, though, they were like 50 wins.
3 or 4
50 wins. 50 wins every year. They just had that one bad year, and they set it. That's when they set everybody to get the number one pick. They set everybody. They set Tim Duncan. I mean, David Robinson, all that bullshit.
So do we think Tim Duncan would win championships with the Minnesota Timberwolves?
No,
that's what I'm saying. So they basically saying KG's a better player than Tim Duncan.
Because
that's basically saying Tim Duncan.
at the same time.
because I think
They're basically saying KG's a better player than Tim Duncan.
But no. Think about what we're saying.
right?
But who was on the
Think about what
Timberwolves?
we're saying. The year before, before Tim Duncan got there, 50 games, and then Tim Duncan's in the draft, then they tank it, like they did this year to get Wemby, and then you add Tim Duncan to a 50-team, the National Player of the Year to a team that's winning 50 games in the NBA. You see how fucking...
They won on a lockout year, too, though. They won on a lockout year, so that was kind of janky.
But what I'm saying is...
The lockout year is janky against the Knicks.
You're adding a National Player of the Year.
That was 99. That was the first one.
Who was the National Player of the Year this year?
I don't even know.
But look, Tim Duncan was nasty, bro.
I get it.
4-year player, 2-year National Player of the Year, like coming wherever he went, they had a chance.
He don't know what he's looking at.
Eddie G from Purdue, big boy.
KG went what, number 5?
Yeah, number 5. Yo, I beat you to the punch.
No, he didn't.
So I'm like Doogie Howser.
Either if they switch roles, they both still be Hall of Famers, like they are.
Okay.
It doesn't take away from the skill set of what the work they put in.
So
the question is, who wins more?
So 94, 95.
So that would be.
Hold on. Yeah, no, you're right. They're going to, like, if he gets traded to the same team, they won 60. They won 62 and 20, 94, 95. 59 and 23. Then the next year, 20 and 62 to get Tim Duncan. And then 56 wins, then 37 and 13, then 53, then 58, then 58, then 60, then 50. Because at that point, once you added the National Player to the Year to a team that won 62 fucking games.
So I mean, any player could say that then.
No.
So if you get KG, you saying do those numbers change or what?
You're the number one.
So do the Spurs win it in 99? Do the Spurs win it in 99 if they draft KD? KG.
Yes.
That's some straight barbershop shit.
What I'm saying is you're adding the last. Okay, when LeBron came in the league, right?
KG's not the number 1 pick, and he's out of high school.
LeBron came in 20. LeBron came
in 4 years in the Spurs franchise.
How about this? LeBron came in 2023, right?
Yeah. 2003.
2003. So it's 2002, 2003. Spurs was a 50-plus game team. What if in 2001, 2002, they tanked it? They end up winning 58 games that year. What if they tanked it?
And what, you think they get LeBron?
And they get LeBron to that team. You see what the fuck happens now? Now you got LeBron with Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. Yeah. There's a fucking whole different. Now his legacy is whole different because now he's winning 6, 7 championships.
But he's still LeBron James, right?
Added to a team. But what I'm saying is, LeBron James added to winning off the rip.
But I also think the Cavs still get the number 1 pick, but then you got Melo, he goes to like Detroit or something like that.
But I'm just saying, if the Spurs get the number 1 pick when LeBron's coming with this team just because they had a bad year.
What I'm saying,
we're not tanking. It sucks because that's what happened to majority of these top 10 players that we're considering greats. Majority of them, someone tanked. Someone was good, tanked that 1 year for them. And then they added them, and then boom, this is all we need.
But we got to talk about the hypothetical of KG going to the Spurs in a system that's already established, right? David Robinson retires. You leave it to KG with the Spurs, right? Tim Duncan being a 4-year player, number 1 pick, 2-year National Player of the Year on that team was left the reins because he was proven. KG was drafted 5 out of high school, wasn't proven yet. It took him time with a bad team to establish to be the big ticket. If Tim Duncan goes to Minnesota off the bat, number 1 pick, it's not taking him 2-3 years to establish himself. He's automatic. Who was that? Tom Gugliotta? That was J.R. Ryder. Who was the point guard? Brandon. Terrell was Terrell Brandon. I mean, like they was solid, but Ticket wasn't the guy to go to for the championship type of feel. So I'm looking like I can't say that the Timberwolves wouldn't have won because Tim Duncan was a different type of player. Like he was a generational pick that transformed a whole organization.
He didn't transform nothing. That's what I'm saying.
He got him a check. They didn't win a championship before he got there.
They were the #1 team.
But they didn't win.
Think about what I'm saying. They're the #1 team.
I get it, but they still didn't win.
Number one.
Loss.
Tank to get him.
Then they won.
Yeah.
Because of him, Gil. They won because of him.
I don't give a fuck who the #1 pick is at that time.
You have to.
You give me the #1. If
You're
I'm
still
the
gonna be number
team,
one, but you're gonna be #1 still.
Who's the #1 team this year? Denver. Right? Denver takes it next year to get the #1 pick. Does it make that #1 pick a great? Because he's coming on a team that's a championship team?
Yeah, but we're not talking about a championship team. We're talking about a team that was good enough to be considered #1. They still wasn't the champ. They wasn't the champions. They needed another piece.
Yes, they need another. But you're adding a #1 player in the country.
So KG.
Who was
if you
#1?
Put KG there, he's not the #1 player.
When you was the #1 pick, what if you got drafted to the Lakers? What if you got drafted to the Spurs? This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about
KG's not the #1 pick, though. This is what I'm saying.
I don't need him to be the great. I already have a team. I already have a team that's in place. We just need one more piece. We don't give a fuck how good you are at the. I don't need you ready.
Come on, bro.
I don't need you ready.
They would have won before he got there. Then they wouldn't have tanked it. What do you mean?
They did tank.
They wouldn't have if they didn't need another piece.
I tanked because I have the.
If you're #1, then you tank. Why did you tank?
Think about it. All I'm missing is who? A 4-man. This is the #1 player in the country.
Oh my Lord. What position does he play?
He plays the 4. Hey, sit down. The rest of y'all go play.
So if we switch roles, KG's not the #1 player. He's coming out of high school.
He has a better chance of winning more because he's on a #1 team. You're not taking account that it's the #1 team. We're adding this foreman. We're having a 7-footer. Even if he just plays defense, it heightens our chances versus Tim Duncan going to a bottom-feeding team. Now he has to work this system.
Because I believe that he's good enough to do that. He was good enough to do that.
We're going to win a championship over who? The Lakers? Spurs with David Robinson and KG.
Tim Duncan was good, man. Tim Duncan was good.
He was good because he has a great team around him.
So, okay, that's what I wanted you to say.
There's a great team around him. Just like Magic. If Magic went to, who was #1? Who was the last pick?
So Tim Duncan doesn't win without the good guys around him.
At the beginning?
I'm asking.
His first year. Does he win his first year if he goes to?
Not saying the first year. I'm just saying, like, if Tim Duncan goes to the Timberwolves, he doesn't win a championship.
No.
All right.
His first year?
No, not just period.
We don't know. I mean, you don't know after that. I mean, you don't know. Now you're facing Shaq and
the question
Kobe.
Who wins?
Now you're facing Shaq and Kobe with a Timberwolves team.
Sam and looked the trails pretty well. And
you know what? How do you know you'll go there? You got Marbury. You got them. When you coming
How do we know Ginobili and them go there? How do you know they get picked there?
Because they was already picked.
No, they wasn't. It's 1999.
Ginobili was a second-round pick, dude. That's how good they were good. Are you not understanding? Ginobili wasn't a first-round pick. Parker was the last pick in the first round. That's how good. Think about.
You just said Latrell and Sam may not be there. Blah 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 blah. So I'm saying, if that's the case, then that's the case.
Listen to what you're saying. The greats that came after Mario Ellie and them went, right? They were so good they didn't have.
What great?
Tony Parker was the last pick, right? He's a Hall of Famer. He was the last pick in the first round. Not a top 5 pick, not a top 10 pick. They were so good, that's the pick they got. That pick. Ginobili was a second-round pick. That's how good they were. A second-round pick. The team was good. They're picking second round. They don't have top 5 picks. That's how good they are. That's what they're good. They're just adding. And those guys became great because of the system and the greatness that was around them. They're not they're not getting #1, #2 picks and building what Tim Duncan would have been doing at that point. Because they'd have been sorry as fuck. Because it's Timberwolves.
Sorry, shit. That was a great hypothetical conversation.
That was crazy.
Y'all went deep on some hypothetical shit.
That was crazy.
What's up, everybody? As you know, Gills Arena is presented by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest and best way to play fantasy sports. You can pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy projections, and you have the opportunity to win up to 20 times your money in a single night. We're doing 5 ways, or 4 ways, or 3 ways. You know, you can do them 2 ways too, but the brewer bread is at the 5-way. Who you rolling with right now?
Oh, yeah, just 55-way.
That WNBA.
WNBA. All 5. Let's rock it.
Let's get this bread. Now, Underdog is available in 30 states and Canada, except Ontario. Get your minds right. Get on with the Underdog Fantasy crew. And if you want to get down, use promo code GIL, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. You put 100 in, they give you 100 right off the top. You start with 200. Really get them pick'ems going. Everybody out there, make your next move your best move. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code GIL, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. You can't beat that. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Keep watching. Keep supporting the movement.
I'll do it again. Use promo code GIL.
Sound like a good promo code to me.
Ages 0. Change the game. Put that respect on his name. Look, with the honor call for greatness, the chosen of few that carry the gift of genius, who do what they do, who possess finesse of blessed with desire, it's true. I'ma say it loud, none other than who?
Yeah, I'm sitting Cam over Cleveland High School.
Oh, yeah.
Going to Cleveland, man.
Yeah.
Getting the fuck out.
They got a nice little guard over there.
Yeah, he gonna fucking rock. Nigga like, yo,
fucking up to that guy.
He referenced your son. He was like, shit, it's gonna be a lot.
I'm fucking up today.
Ways for Cameron over here. Like, come on, let him rock. He got the name. He he a big deal coming over here because who? I'm a coach him.
I told him I remember I seen him. I said, maybe I tell Baron to hit me.
Yeah. Stop fucking with this spot. Yeah, listen. Talking about he want to go to Alameda and all this. I was like, nah, we gonna. You want to go play with a little guard?
What up, Chad? What's up, everybody? Pedaling up.
Like, I can't allow you to play with him. He's a lefty guard to go to Alameda. They play with BTI. Dad on first place gym.
Oh, they still there? Yeah. We ready to do it? Let's get it.
They played together in Vegas. I can't. I got to play with him. He did a little guard in Cleveland. He played. Hell of a mid-range game. Yeah, I think he was right there playing the other day. But he's I'm gonna be in the gym watching practice. He get off of it. I'm saying, man, the coach already had the conversation. I'm gonna be in the gym watching practice. You don't mind? I'm gonna. He was like,
Ages 0. Change the game. Put that respect on his name. Look, with the honor call for greatness, the chosen of few that carry the gift of genius, who do what they do, who possess finesse of blessed with desire, it's true. I'ma say it loud, none other than who? Some swear by Nikes, others love Adidas. Rappers be rocking crowds, I'd rather rock arenas. You may have a nice shop, you super set with the pill. Who made the 0 famous? It's Gil. Homie fire, he wet, cold as the Pacific. Some dudes try to guard him, no need to be specific. He dazzled up the crowd as a wizard for years. Was 100% real, it's Gil.
Welcome back to Gills Arena, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Whoa. We had a bigger studio.
WoW Classic era is booming.
For the last couple of months, I've been leveling a completely fresh character on the Classic era Firemore EU server, experiencing the many highs and lows of adventuring across Old Azeroth once again. Embarrassingly, I'm still not at level 60 on this character, probably because I spend too much time making videos instead of playing the damn game. In fact, you know what? Let's pause this video for a moment so I can actually get some leveling done. Let's see. Where did I last log out? Ah, STV.
Oh, that sounds like a good time. He's gonna punch it. Yep.
On second
I've
thought,
seen
let's
that.
not play the game, let's make a video instead.
Smart.
So throughout the time I've been playing this fresh adventure, the knowledge that hardcore servers were on the horizon has been ever present and a topic of hot discussion among players on Firemore. I've seen some red hot takes about the potential successes or failures of official hardcore servers, and invariably whatever opinion you might hold will lead to someone somewhere instructing you to immediately ram your head up Ragnaros' fiery anus.
I think that hardcore WoW, it's like, the problem is Blizzard took too long to get it out. Like, if Blizzard had gotten it out at the same time that it was getting really popular, I think that it would have been way better. Because, like, at this point, there's functionally no big difference between what people were doing with hardcore before this and now.
By fire be purged.
It's pumping? Well, like, is it, though? Like, I mean, how many people really are playing it? I bet there's probably like 20k people consistently playing hardcore WoW. Like, at least in the US servers. I don't know what the culture is like over on EU. I have no idea. But I'd say probably, yeah, 20k, something like that.
For my part, I've dabbled in hardcore a bit, but I've got no intentions of making it my main game, though I can understand the appeal to others.
Yeah,
and this
sure.
seems to be the opinion of most people I've run into whilst playing on Firemore. I'll certainly be prioritising my era rogue over any hardcore runs, and I promise that has absolutely nothing to do with dying to furbolgs at level 8.
Ooh.
Seriously, those furry fucks might be laughing now, but they won't be when I go full Anakin Skywalker on Timbermore Hole.
There you
like
go.
animals, and I slaughtered them like animals.
Jokes aside,
Fuck 'em.
I'm glad to see that people playing hardcore are having a great time and enjoying the experience, even if that experience involves being repeatedly feared into new and ever more crowded cells in the stockades. Fun times, right?
Yeah, that's about right. That's what I'd expect playing a game just because it's harder. Well, I think a lot of people like hardcore. All I'm saying is that I don't think hardcore WoW is like this massive, like, juggernaut of content. Because, like, again, people that probably wanted to play hardcore have played it for a good amount. And I think that, you know, like, it has its player base for sure, but it's not like a massive thing.
But one big question that people on Firemore had been asking long before the release of the official servers was, what effect would hardcore have on the health of the normal Classic era servers? Would it cause a mass exodus of players flocking to the new servers to play hardcore?
I think it would be the opposite. I actually think hardcore, it's a rising tide floats all boats. Like, hardcore WoW gets people back into playing vanilla WoW. And then at a certain point, people will be attached to their character, and their character will die, and then they will just play it on Classic era because they don't want to start over again. Or they'll make a new hardcore character and then maybe play that other character on Classic era every once in a while.
Is Classic era just a waiting room for the official HC release? Well, I'm very happy to tell you that the opposite seems to be true.
Yeah, no way.
I think that if anything, the hype surrounding hardcore over the last week has actually led to more people hopping onto normal Classic era servers to relive the journey through
No fucking way there's this many people.
Azeroth. Why do I think this? Well, see for yourselves. This in the background is Stormwind on Firemore today. Days after.
No fucking way. It's like 2 in the morning. Okay? Keep that in mind. It's 2 in the morning. What's the most popular realm? Whitemane. Is Whitemane the best one? Okay. At 3 a.m.? What the fuck? If it has layers, invite me to another layer. It would be like, no, I don't believe you. Invite me to another layer. If you're on white main right now, invite me. Holy shit, dude, this is at 3 in the fucking morning. Okay, so I know that the layering system has been, you have to be in the same zone, man. You have to be in the same zone. You have to be in Stormwind. If you're in Stormwind and you can't / target Asmonbald, okay, what about this guy? You're in Ash. Okay, so you're in Ashenvale. So I understand this is classic players. Let me slow down. Could you invite me if you are in Stormwind, the city? Okay. But you... If you can't see my character, I want to see if they have layers. I want to see if they have layers. Let me see if they have layers. Okay, seems like that's not the case. Okay. So unless somebody can invite me to another layer, then we don't. Okay. So that's what I thought. No layers. Okay. Well, I was right, as usual. Okay, let's see this. And this is also at 3 in the morning, by the way. Let's see this here. Holy shit. Look at this guy right here. He's got War Chief's Blessing. Bro. Oh, wait, all right. Look at that gear. No, I still can't inspect him. Look at this. This guy is a fucking winner. The Face of Death from Sapphiron. Thunder Fury. Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Storm Rage's Talisman of Seething. The only necklace that gives you 2% critical strike rating. Available only from Kel'Thuzad in Naxxramas. Marshall's Plate Leg Guards. Going for the 3-set bonus for stamina as well. Oh, this is from fucking... I don't know how to say his name. Oh, he changed it. He's even got his fucking healing set! For the Diamond Flask! He's ready! This guy said, fuck getting beaten by Rep Paladins in Old War. I'm going back to the real game. Holy shit. That's what I'm like. That's what I like to see. Let's see how many things are on the auction house. $48,000 things are on the auction house on just one server. Oh my god. Oh, it wouldn't be classic WoW without people trying to bring up conspiracies. Holy shit. There's another one right here. Tier 3. Ring of the Dreadnought. Thunder Fury and the Face of Death as well. Look at this. This is fucking beautiful. Oh my god. I fucking love this. This guy's stacked. Log on at 7 p.m. to server pops. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let me see right now how many people are on... Where's the hardcore realms? Okay, what is the, is this for both factions? Like, if I make, okay, yes, okay. want to see how many items are on the auction house. $36,000. Oh my god. And look at these prices. These prices are reasonable. Tiger Strike Mantle, best in slot twink gear. Well, I guess you can't really twink, but still, level 29, only 14 gold. Look at this. Nightblade or Gut Ripper is only 45 gold. I think this is a very reasonable service. This is a very reasonable price. What the hell are you giving me? I don't want that. Want 5 gold? No. Holy shit. Gold is like $4 for 1 gold. That's a lot. You probably make a good living playing on this server and then farming gold and selling it for real money. That's smart. People should do that. I wonder, has anybody ever thought of the idea of like farming gold and then selling it for real money? Have people done that before? No? I should make a website for that. That'd be a good idea. Yeah. Oh, Blizzard. Oh, somebody, the guy in my group says Blizzard does it. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Blizzard took the idea from me. They should pay me. Anyway, so 36,000. Okay. So I'm gonna close this, and now you know where we're gonna go. I want to see what it's like on retail. Let's see. How many times do I have to sign this shit? Gear update? The fuck does that mean? Gear update? I don't care. Okay. Just let me play the fucking game. I want to see how many things are on this auction house. They have to load everybody else on the server's transmog. That's why it takes so long. Okay. Well, this looks pretty normal. Well, not normal. But you know what I mean. Okay, let's see what's on this auction house. How many people are on this one? Oh, I have a mount. I forgot about that. You know what's so crazy? I got this mount in 2009. Might have been 2008. One or the other. Dude, how many years ago? Is this like 15 years ago or something like that? Dude, I had this mount. I remember the day I got this. 14 years? Isn't it scary? What's this guy doing here? Does it show how many items are on the auction house? Let me see if it does. I'll scroll all the way down. Maybe it gives a listing. No. Okay. Well, at the end of the day,
the launch of...
I'm gonna be real. I'm fucking astonished that Classic Era has that many people playing it. Isn't that fucking insane?
Hardcore WoW. It's busier than ever. So much so, in fact, that the place was lagging out.
Oh my god.
It is a Blizzard game, so we can hardly expect good quality service, can we?
Yeah.
This guy is just trying to make games. Bobby is a good man. And these fucking unions. Bobby is a good man. These lazy fucks.
Now, I'm not trying to suggest that people are choosing to not play hardcore in favour of normal Classic Era, or that people should do that. Not at all. Play whatever you want, my friend. Enjoy yourself. Still, I think it's worth mentioning that this is basically what happened to me. I came back to WoW after a period of absence back in May, because I'd heard about the hardcore challenge. I started playing an Alt Warrior and realised pretty quickly that I'd gotten sucked back into the vanilla curse and wanted to play WoW 25 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to dive even deeper without the risk of losing the character I was growing attached to on the hardcore realm.
Right.
That's what led me to start my fresh series in the first place. And also, for what it's worth, in my opinion at least, I think hardcore has already passed its primacy. It was at its...
I think he's right. I feel like this is something that comes in cycles. Like about every year and a half, 2 years, you're going to have everybody get excited about hardcore again. They're going to play it for a while, and then they're going to stop playing it. That's just the way it is.
Peak in May and June, and maybe even earlier than that, when the players created their own hardcore add-ons.
Yeah.
Blizzard is kind of late to the party with these official servers.
They are.
Even though, as I say, they're doing well right now with queue times and people obviously having a blast, which is fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised though if a lot of the people playing on Firemore and other era servers right now had originally come back to Classic in the last few weeks or months due to the hype around hardcore, and are probably trying that out as well, but also are keen to invest their time into the normal servers where they don't need to worry so much about the risks associated with, you know, dying. And hey, maybe I'm totally wrong here. Maybe this is like the time I tried to convince some hardcore Warhammer fans that the Dark Angels are a loyalist chapter. Who knows? All I'll say is that Firemore is doing really well right now, and if you're considering coming back to vanilla era WoW, now is as good a time as any. Yes, the typical...
Dude, I think this is great. I'm really happy to see this. Dude, imagine how much Classic would pop off if you could play Classic era on the Xbox Battle Pass. Dude. Dude, what the fuck? That would be insane.
WoW problems still exist, almost
Game
always
Pass,
a
yeah.
result of Blizzard's
On Game
insatiable
Pass.
greed. They should rebrand to Midas Entertainment at this point. But ultimately the game, at its core, is still the amazing, vast fantasy world you remember. And you can take it from me, having sunk hundreds of hours into this character over the last 10 weeks or so. Classic Era has a very healthy and active community on the main servers, and it's always ready for more players. I think there's a unique pull to vanilla, which is what causes this, and it comes from a combination of the sheer size and depth of the world.
It's because here's why vanilla WoW is so popular. It's because the game doesn't begin at level 60, it begins at level 1. There's no boosts. There's no level experience potion you can buy. There's no weird mount that you can get from the cash shop. There's no special helmet that if you're wearing this, it's because you spent money on the video game. There are no furries. There's no Volpira. There are no, let's see, where are the other, no, there's no bullshit. Let's see, no pandas. Tauren, you forget about that. But besides that, there's no furries, no Worgen, that's right. And vanilla WoW is an adventure that begins at level 1. And at level 60, there are multiple things that you need to do, and the entire world is relevant. I know people aren't going to like to hear this. The entire world is relevant because of world buffs. If you took world buffs out of WoW, everybody would sit in Ironforge all day. World buffs make people go out in the world. Imagine that. World buffs are broken. And you know what else is broken? The brain of the people that play this game. And if you take world buffs away, they're going to quit the game. That's the truth.
As well as the significant...
Know what makes them log out their mains? Snuffles. How does it feel to be a fucking idiot? I hope it feels good.
Focus on the RPG side of the MMORPG genre here, which I think Blizzard never fully embraced to the same extent in subsequent versions of the game. There's a freedom to the original game to just do whatever you want to, without baked-in systems compelling you towards a particular goal or breaking the immersion of the virtual world experience.
I find it to be very impressive, the fact that Classic WoW is as good as it is. And I remember Kevin Jordan, who was one of the original designers of Classic WoW, and I asked him, was this by design? And he said only half of it. The other half was an accident. Which I actually I believe that. I genuinely think that, like, this game is just fucking... I don't think any other game... I don't know, I haven't played, like, old school RuneScape or, like, a few other ones, right? But, like, there's something really, really special about vanilla WoW. And I think that even in Burning Crusade, it goes off a cliff. Even in BC.
It's difficult to point out what exactly makes Era so enjoyable for me, and doubtless nostalgia does play a big role, but if that is the case for me, then looking...
I think another reason why Era is really popular is that there's no sense of urgency to level. It's not like, oh, I've got to get to level 60 so I can get ready for Molten Core and I can start buying gold on the store so I can get into the GDKPs and then I have to buy a carry for my attunement. It's like, you don't have to do that. Everything's already out. People are already fully geared out with Nax gear. And they can just, you know, do whatever the fuck.
I don't think I need that.
Do whatever you want.
The direction my server is
It's
heading
very
right
at your
now.
own pace. Yeah, you're already behind. Just start. Like, a lot of you guys probably started WoW. You probably didn't start WoW on November whatever the fuck in 2004, right? You started in 2004 later on. You started in 2005, 2006, maybe 2008, right? But I'm talking about just vanilla. If you started in vanilla, you probably didn't start on day one. I started, whenever I first began playing the game, it was during the Midsummer Fire Festival and the Nax invasion event was happening. I remember this very clearly. Because I remember spinning around. Oh, they do that, spinning around. They do what the fuck is shit? Oh my God. You know? And everybody there was like max level, and I was a level 20 idiot. Right? Well, I mean, more accurately at that time, I was a level 16 idiot in real life. And it's actually kind of just the way I remember it.
For a fact, I'm definitely not alone. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say really. For those of you slaying your way through hardcore, keep up the good work. And for the rest of you out there playing Classic, stay awesome and hope to see you in game. I for one am having an absolute blast. If you'd like to see more of my vanilla journey so far, even if it's just to see for yourself whether or not it's worth coming back, then I've linked the full playlist for you to check it out. Who knows, it might convince you to play the game yourself, if you're not doing so already. In any case guys, be well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's a good one. People claim you didn't start playing WoW until TBC? Yeah, of course they do. I mean, the thing is, like, let's say I did. Let's say I didn't play WoW until Burning.
Here my kids go.
Hi.
What's the deal? Back up.
Nothing. Sorry.
What you got going on?
Nothing. I'm just a little hungry.
Wanna make you something to eat?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, look. Get a bowl. That, actually, you know what? I'll do it for you. I don't want you to mess that up. I'll do it for you. I got you. Hold on. Let me just put something on. Yeah, nothing good on. Yeah, fuck it.
All right, Lindsay.
Soft white underbelly. Fuck it. Motherfuckers like shit like that.
All right, Jasmine. Jasmine, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a suburb around like 20 minutes outside of Portland, Oregon. So that's where I was born and raised. Both of my parents are immigrants from Iran.
What else? I look typical. Ratchet.
All right, Rachel.
Ratchet shit.
Rachel, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Johnston, Rhode Island, but I spent
my teen years, and I graduated from Burrillville, Rhode Island. And I didn't really move around a lot, but definitely didn't like either one of them, honestly.
Tell me about your family.
So I have a mom and a dad, 2 sisters that are 14 and 13 years older than I am, and I have a baby sister. I do have step siblings, but those are like predominantly by blood, I guess. When I say I have my parents, I feel like a lot of people have this mindset of being grateful no matter what kind of parent they are. And an understanding, I completely understand why people would think that. But it really wasn't the case, I guess. My mom was an opiate addict. My dad and her met when they were like 31, and she was perfectly fine. They lived in the same building, and my dad was an immigrant from Mexico and had no idea how to speak any English whatsoever. So my mom taught him. She had 2 girls of her own, and I think she was fascinated with a man who was the same age as her, honestly, because like my sister's dad was 52 when my mom gave birth to them, and she was like 19. And apparently he knew her before that age. So I feel like my mom was really, really infatuated with someone, you know, that worked and did things. He may not have spoken English, but he still tried to be the role model that she wanted. But I feel like she was a bit blindsided with the fact that, like, the 2 men liked small children. I mean, what do you have in common when you're 52 with a 19-year-old? What do you have in common with a child with a different mindset besides being a fatherly figure? So I wasn't really surprised when my dad molested my sister. I was a baby. My mom had no idea. I think she was a bit tricked into, you know, having me. Like, she really didn't know what a visa or citizenship really was. My mom took her siblings when she was like 13 and found my sister's dad and tried to make something out of nothing, you know? So I feel terrible thinking about it. And I judged her a lot for it because after she died, I never understood why she did some of the things that she did. When she told my mom that my dad molested her, she didn't believe her, like at all.
Sounds crazy.
And my dad was like, I'll take Rachel if you don't believe me. And I think at that point, like, all my life, I've tried to, like, stand back from the painting and, like, look at the whole picture because I feel a little selfish looking at.
Alright, I get it. I'm not really rocking with soft white underbelly. That'd be something better. Cool on that. Maybe something different. Like that.
Mansion. I misjudged you and your comrades.
I know a fox we clashing out.
Oh. That's actually why I think most majority yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, good night. Hi Mark, I love you.
Round 2, fight.
Hey! Watch the low. Bitch. Huh. She's stuffing me. Hey! Hey! Man, everything was so funny. She's fucking swimming. Oh, good. Chill out. Oh, you could lose the game for that. Ready? I missed! No! You died! You did die too. You actually died. Hey, you know, I'm just gonna go for the next.
It's to make the meal. That's the point of beans and sausage. Or beans and sausage.
Like that? Let's put it back up again. Oh, get him. Yes, sir. You better flawless block that, buddy. You better flawless block that. But it's like that until they're so. Yeah. Again, literally every puppet character I know that doesn't block infinite until the puppet like runs out. That's the whole point. Their thing gets damaged. Or you get cornered. Why is he great? I'm fucking stunting him. No! Well, yeah, you're supposed to flawless block that, and you do it legit without doing that, you take 0 shit. Yeah. Hey, legit, you're making me waste my time, essentially. No! Right, it's really easy to fall block strings. I just smoked that. You're no match for my steel. You know that? Why'd you break that? Now you're gonna actually fucking see the next time I touch you. Nah!
Hello, everybody.
All right, Lindsay. Lindsay, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
Evansville, Indiana.
Evansville is where?
It's the most southern point of Indiana.
The very southern tip.
Yeah.
That's right. How'd you grow up? What was your family like?
Mom and dad divorced early, but mom was a single mom. We didn't want for nothing. I had a really, really good childhood. Catholic school, the whole nine. Really good childhood.
What kind of friends do you have?
kind of, none in the Catholic school system. I went the opposite direction. It's always intrigued me. Ever since I saw the movie Blow. When I saw the movie Blow, it was just over after that.
Are you the black sheep of your family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think that happens to some people?
You can't help who you are. I mean, you can't help what interests you.
Right.
And
But what is it that made you interested in the dark side of things?
it wasn't the dark side. It was the fast-paced life. It was the money. I mean, it was the nice things. I wanted nice things.
When did drugs start for you?
I started intravenously using methamphetamine when I was 14.
Who introduced you to that?
A family member.
Family.
Yeah.
So it's in the family.
If family can't fuck you, who can? You know what I'm saying?
You graduate high school?
Yep.
But you were already doing drugs, so.
Yeah, I was already doing drugs.
All through high school?
All through high school.
Did it help you in school?
You know, in a way it did, because I was prescribed, a stimulant, Adderall, whenever I was a kid. And when I lost my insurance, it was kind of like I went searching for that same stimulant to keep me focused.
They're similar, right?
Very similar. I mean, you look on a bottle of Adderall, it says methamphetamine salt. I mean, you can't get no more direct than that.
And you can find it down in Evansville?
Oh, yeah. You used to. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, it's just not in one migrated, saturated spot. It's everywhere.
Yeah, the whole country seems to be.
Everywhere.
Everywhere I go, it seems to be.
Yeah. But see, there's a difference, though. It's what it is now, it didn't used to be. It's trash now. Like,
I've heard that so many times.
it's not even worth doing. It's worth getting sober. It's not worth dying. It's not worth spending your money on, for sure. When the average homeless person has an 8 ball of dope in their pocket, there ain't no money in it. It ain't worth doing no more.
And the quality is.
If you ain't making 50% in anything you're doing, then you ain't got no business doing it, is how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? And the quality's, not only that, but the dynamic of the drug changed. Like, how you come down, how you feel, it makes you go fucking crazy now. Or you die. Because you don't know what's in it. And nobody's got a conscience anymore. They'll just say whatever.
Back then, were there a lot of people having these psychotic episodes that you see
No.
now?
Not unless they were just on a good one for too long.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they're doing.
I mean,
they're up for 6 days and then.
No, you can. I'm a recovering addict. I've been clean now almost 4 years. I've relapsed one time. I won't do it again. It's just not worth me doing. It's trash.
What got you to stop other than that? You have kids?
I got 2 boys. I got a 10-year-old, and I got another son I put up for adoption. And actually, when I leave here, I'm going to South Bend to see him for a surprise visit. So, it's kind of pretty cool right now.
The meth was the reason that you lost them?
No, well, the reason why I lost my oldest. I was in a really abusive relationship with his dad. He poured drain cleaner down my throat. That's kind of why I talk the way I talk. You know what I'm saying? CPS got involved. I went on a binge, bro. I did everything I wasn't supposed to do. My mom got my son. About 2.5 years later, I decided, I got locked up in Mount Carmel, Illinois. And I was done. They transferred me back to Vandenberg County on a warrant. Vandenberg County got too overcrowded. They sent me up to Washington, Indiana. Washington, Indiana offers a drug rehab program inside their jail for long-term people. I went through that. It's called RARE. I then put myself in rehab in Washington after I got out willingly. My sponsor died of COVID 2 years ago. My dad died. It'll be 3 years ago the 29th of this month, in 9 days. And it just wasn't worth it anymore. My son was getting older. He was going to remember me where before he was old enough. He's old enough now where he's going to remember where before he was young enough where he wouldn't remember that I wasn't there. And boy, I had to jump through hoops. He's been adopted by my mom, changed his last name on me. I mean, it's been a ride. I had to become a homeowner before she'd even let me start seeing him again. He's 10 years old now. They took him when he was 18 months old. I finally got my first visit 2 years ago. I've been clean 4 months. And then I had another one while I was in rehab. And I put him up for adoption because I couldn't raise him in front of my oldest. And my oldest come to me later and asked me why I raised him and not him. Just morally, I couldn't do it. And I knew it was right what I was doing, and I did what I did. And my whole life has changed since.
For the better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you make one selfless decision, and it's like your whole thought process changes. Because I used to be a grimy motherfucker, I ain't gonna lie.
You get some stories, I'll bet.
I got some doozies, bro. I mean, but I wouldn't change nothing.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed that. Hey, keep your arms and legs side to ride at all times. It was a motherfucking fun ride, bro. It was fun, man. Love it. I mean, I light up when I talk about it. That last one, no. That wasn't fun. That drug changed. That ain't the same drug.
What kind of stories you got?
We used to hit the co-op at 7 a.m. while they'd be clocking into work still in there in high dress. While they'd be clocking into work, we'd be still in there in high dress in the mornings. Let's see.
That's an ingredient for...
Yeah. I got it tattooed on me right there. 1005 anhydrous ammonia.
You were cooking it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got more out of cooking it than I did doing it. It was fun, bro. I mean, the people, just the lifestyle. Like, I met some really, really, really good people. Met some really good people during it. And now we're all clean, and it's like... Okay, so... When I relapsed, I ran into my buddy again, and he had just got out of prison, and we were comparing, you know, who had better shit. Well, I thought I had better shit, but he had, you know, he had the better shit, to be honest with you, so I did it. Like, they're all lined up on a couch like that, and I'm sitting in a chair like this, and they're all looking at me, and I did this shit, you know what I'm saying, and I got up, and this door is it's locked. It's an old Victorian door, and it's locked like 3 doors down. Nobody can ever get this door open. They said I jumped up, opened that fucking door, ran out, ran across the street they said I walked on water across the creek, ran into the bookstore and stripped asshole fucking naked, stashed my fucking shit and ran the fuck back out. I don't remember none of it. I don't remember none of it. But I mean, I guess I did it.
Drugs are fun.
I wouldn't say drugs are fun. Drugs are fun if they're good and the people you're around.
That's crazy.
It's a completely different. If you can trust the people you're around, it's one thing. If you can't trust the people you're around, you don't know what the fuck you're getting. You're gonna end up fucking dead. You're gonna end up dead.
What kind of crowd of people were you hanging out with? Bikers and things like that?
No, just some good old Posey County boys. You know, I mean, just good old farm boys. We just had fun. Like, we all were just interested in the lifestyle. We got more out of standing behind our product than we did doing the product. You know what I'm saying? It was like that, our badge of city right there.
So you were selling too?
I'm not going to indulge in that on camera, so.
Admit that on camera.
I mean, I had a hard time doing my step work when I got sober because I didn't want to write it down. I mean, we'd have to burn my step work every time after we did it because I thought I was incriminating myself. I wouldn't do it. She had the hell of a time getting me to do my step work.
What's your biggest regret?
Not spending enough time with my dad before he died. But I guess I got clean just in time before he died, you know, so, but yeah, that. But he always stood behind me, so it was like no matter what I did, you know, that's part of the reason why I got clean, because he was sick, he couldn't work, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I had nobody send my paperwork home to no more. I had nobody I could trust. I had nobody put money on my books. Like, I had nobody. Like, I got people, but I don't have a motherfucker like that no more. That was my rock. And my motherfucking Freddie was my rock, man.
Your dad?
My dad. Yeah. Oh, Freddie. That man bonded me out on $100,000 cash.
He did?
Yeah. Yeah. Just to get me to another county because I didn't like where I was sitting, where I had another warrant.
And you did some jail time?
Oh, I've done a lot of jail time. I've done prison time, you know, I mean.
What was that for? Just drugs?
I mean, the initial charge, yeah, but in the end it was because I failed on probation. You know, fuck probation. Ride me out. I ain't paying you motherfuckers. I'm not.
What does crystal meth do for you?
It made me very productive. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
I've heard
bro,
that a
it
lot.
made me very
I
productive.
don't want these videos to become like, you know,
I mean, you could
endorsements.
just, like, seriously, you could, like right now, like, today's the first time I've had myself all the way together, I'd say in probably 3 years. Like, any other time, if I was on that shit, my makeup will be done every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now it's just like hair up in a bun, t-shirt, shorts. You know, I have no...
You have more energy, more focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I should say more self-confidence.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You know what I'm saying? More self-confidence. I mean, but then in the same sense, it's like you hate yourself at the same time. I can remember one time I took all the mirrors out in my house because I didn't even want to fucking look at myself at that point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck that shit. I didn't want to look at myself. I made myself sick. I weighed 76 fucking pounds. It was horrible. It was horrible. Horrible.
What are the downsides of it?
You lose every fucking thing. You lose everything. Your kids, your house, your family, yourself, your well-being, your self-respect. I mean, you lose. And I don't care anybody who can sit here and say they ain't never done this or that. They're a fucking liar. Because I come from a good family, and I held a very high standard with what I did and how I did it. And I'll say this, like I said, I was a bottom of the barrel motherfucker at one point too. You get to that point, and that's when you're ready to climb. Either you stay there or you change it. You recognize it or you don't. And I had to recognize it. I was worth getting sober.
How'd you quit?
I went to jail.
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey. I mean, that's the only way to do it. I don't give a fuck. You don't substitute one drug for another drug to come off of another drug. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Either it's here. Either you want to or you don't. Or you use, like, I'm going to admit something on camera, and I really hope this doesn't get me in trouble by my mother, but, you know, when I lost my son to begin with, I used that as a crutch to get high again, you know? Like an excuse. When my dad died this time, I used that as an excuse to get sober. I didn't.
Whatever it takes.
I got another high in me, Mark. I ain't got another recovery. I ain't got another one in me. It ain't gonna happen. It's a one-time shot.
Is it difficult?
Oh fuck yeah, it's difficult. It's more difficult to see your friends still doing what they're doing though. That's the more difficult part. Because you know I always say if I can get higher, you know, if I can get cleaner, anybody can. And they're like, oh, everybody says that. No, I mean that. I mean that.
Now that you're clean, you see old friends who are still using. What do you think?
It's just, it hurts my heart. Like, I don't judge them, you know what I'm saying? Because at any time I could relapse. That could be me tomorrow. That could be me in 10 minutes. My heart just hurts for them. It just goes out to them. It's like I try to encourage recovery because it's wiping my generation out. I mean, it's bad. The only thing my generation did was get on drugs to have babies, to have them taken, for our parents to raise them, to give CPS fucking jobs. It's horrible down there in that part of the country.
Is it because there's not a lot to do? Did people get involved in drugs?
I wouldn't say there ain't a lot to do. There's a lot of money in that city. If you're following what I'm saying, there's a lot of money to be had in that city. Like it's not some it's not some big city. It don't look like a lot of money, but there's a lot of money down there. There's a lot of money down there. I mean, and a lot of people think like I do down there.
You know, I've been all through Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia.
I mean, I'm right there, Kentucky, Tennessee, there at the border.
You're right at the tip of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Indiana's at the
meth
bottom.
capital of the world, if you ask me. I mean, point blank, meth capital of the
in
world.
those states I just mentioned, it's so prevalent, it's crazy.
Okay, I must say this.
And I'm sure Indiana's not much better.
When I started, it was kind of like the taboo thing. I was young doing it with an older crowd, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a hush-hush thing. We got a thing, you know, where you can see who's gone to jail and who's got arrested and shit. And it's more common now to see 18-year-olds through 26-year-olds getting caught with needles. Like, that's just unheard of, that generation doing what they're doing. Like, they made that a real dirty drug now. You know, it used to be real, it used to be real, like, pure, clean, you know. Now they've put a bad name on it, a bad stamp on it. Like, I don't want no part of it, bro.
You were injecting it, smoking it, or turkey basting it?
Oh, injecting it. I shot dope for 20 years. I got slave to the needle tattooed on my motherfucking right foot. And I don't give a fuck. Cleanest way to put a drug in your body if you do it right. I don't care. I had fun doing what I'm doing. Never wore long sleeves neither. I loved it. I loved it. That's why I had to quit, man. That's why I had to quit. You can't get the shit to make the shit no more.
What's the ingredient that you can't get?
Pseudoephedrine. I mean, you can get it, but you got to go sign for that shit. I ain't leaving no paper trail. Not doing it. Not doing it. And then, you know, you got this other shit they're making in it. It ain't all cracked up to be what it is. It's just trash. It's just trash.
Your life is better now.
My life's real good now.
What are the downsides of being clean?
All I do is work, which that's not a downside. But I work, I go home, I sleep. It's just monotonous. It's repetitive. Like, there's no excitement in my life whatsoever. There's always excitement in my life with that shit, you know? I mean, there's like every day, like, catastrophic events were happening. It was cool. Now it's just like, my mom said when you get older, a boring life's a good life. I understand that now. A boring life is a good life. Meaning my kid's older. I need to be a role model. I mean, he already has to probably answer enough questions at school, so.
Is being ADHD part of the
it's horrible
reason you fall into it?
Oh yeah, I'm a strong believer in that. I'm a strong believer in that, and I blame the medical field. They know what they're doing. They know what that does, and they know what happens. You know, I mean, you get so dependent on something. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go find the next best thing. I didn't know what to do at that age. You know, I mean, I had a standard I had to hold with my mother, and there was things that, I mean, shit had to be done, and I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that got me through doing it. I wasn't a good student by no means, but I fucking did it.
Is there a fear that you'll go back?
There's always that fear. There's always that fear because you never know.
It's good to be aware that that's possible.
I'm not going to say I'm better than the next, and I'm not going to, I mean, because like I said, I was pretty raw with it. I mean, but I knew I was worth getting sober, if that makes any type of sense. Like, I met a woman in jail that came in and did church, Lisa Beckner, and she just basically made me see my self-worth for everything. And it was like my whole thought process started changing at that point. And my dad dying, and my son getting older and putting the one up for adoption, and I had to hold myself to a certain standard at that point. It's like at work now. I sit there and it's like I don't try to find an employee to try to be competitive or be better than. I try to outwork myself the next day. I set my stopwatch, and I try to be faster than I was the day before, or I try to walk more steps than I did the day before. I mean, you can hear me in there. Come on, Lindsay, go, go, go. You know, I mean, it's kind of like I've substituted that. That's a side effect. I'm constantly moving. Constantly moving. I mean, I have people at work that ask me, Lindsay, do you ever slow down? Yeah, I go home and die after this, you know? I mean, but
I think there are people that take the crystal meth or start using crystal meth because they want to lose weight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've gotten huge. I mean, there's another thing with the self-confidence. Like, that's another reason why I don't dress up anymore. Like, there's just no point in it. There's just no point.
Not that everyone who takes it is going to lose weight.
Right.
Some don't.
No. And it's like you look at them, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand it. I can do a little bit and 10 pounds later, you know, you're seeing cheekbones.
Whereas other people seem to.
No, there's other people that's 300, 500 pounds on it still.
Yeah.
But you know, your mind, the way your mind thinks is really cool on it. I mean, like, I've kind of gotten, I kind of play process of elimination now on everything. And it makes sense and it works. Like, I used to do a shot of dope and I had this notebook. And anytime I'd do a shot of dope, I'd sit there and write down any fucking crazy thought going through my head. Like, it was fucking wild. I wish I could have found that motherfucker. There was some shit in that motherfucker. It was wild. It was wild.
Lindsay, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
If the only thing you do for the day is breathe, that's perfectly fine. I mean, because you got to stop and think about what you're doing. If you don't stop and think about what you're doing, then you ain't got no business doing it, because then if something bad happens, you can't blame nobody else but yourself. And that's just, see, that's the thing about me. I've never blamed nobody for anything that's ever happened to me but myself. And it took me a long time to get to that point. A long time. It took me a long time to get to the point where to admit I enjoyed getting high. Like, I literally pushed my family out of my life for a long time. My mom drove down the road for 2 years and wouldn't even, literally would look at me for 2 years driving down the road and wouldn't even look over and wave at me. She didn't want fucking nothing to do with me. She still don't want fucking nothing to do with me, probably. I mean, but she has to. I'm a different person, but still, she don't think I am. She still don't think I am. She ain't talked to me in 4 days. Matter of fact, I ain't talked to her in 4 days. She didn't even tell me be careful, have a safe trip, nothing.
Is it hard to change the reputation that you have?
No, because a lot of people that have seen me where I used to be, They know. I come out the fire smelling like burnt collard greens, but I did it. I mean, they know. They know where I was. I mean, I'm with the guy now, you know, and he's been like a major focal point in the past few years. And he saw me at my worst, and I got locked up, and I came back home, and then he saw me at my best, and we've been together ever since. But he's never judged me, and you know, he makes me recognize a lot of things, and he keeps me sober. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but he's the big reason why I'm sober today.
What was your darkest point? The scar?
You know, that was the start of it. When I slit my face in half, that was the start of it. It was kind of like that. That's when I woke up and didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I was a junior in high school. I was like being a 17-year-old female and slicing your face completely in half. I mean, that's completely different.
How'd that happen?
I went through my windshield. I had about 900 stitches in my eye. Yeah.
Was that because of the meth?
No, I was actually smoking a joint of weed then. Just a joint of weed. I just smoked weed then. At that point, I was just smoking weed at that point for about 3 months. At that point, I was just smoking weed.
But did the trauma of that make you want to use?
Oh yeah, well, that, and to believe it or not, the meth really helped the pain a lot. You know, and then there was a time where I got busted in my head by a girl when I relapsed, and I honestly believe if I wouldn't have done that shot of meth, it would have killed me. I think that shot of meth's what kept my heart pumping and my blood pumping. I'm a thorough believer in that. Like, it's got its downsides, but it's got its good sides too. And I know that sounds crazy as fuck too.
This is not meant to be an endorsement.
It's not meant to be an endorsement, but I mean, you gotta find the positive in everything you're fucking doing. You have to. Otherwise, you're gonna be in denial the whole time. And that's where I was at. The last point, I hated myself. I hated what I was doing. I knew I had no fucking business doing what I was doing.
It just seems to me like everyone, at least everyone I see that does it, ends up dismantling their whole life.
Oh, I dismantled my, bro.
Like they lose their kids.
I was a big softball star. I mean, I was a big softball star. I mean, like, I ruined my whole fucking life. Point blank. I ruined my whole fucking life.
You ruined it.
Yeah. But in a way, it's kind of like it's redeemed me now because people need me now. Like, I didn't have a person like me when I was getting high. If I had somebody like me when I was getting high, maybe something I said or they said, I would remember, and it might have changed my thought process, you know? I mean, I met one lady and it changed my whole thought process on things. You know, I mean, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. How should I say? It was good for the time being. It was good for the time being. It gave me a good run. It gave me a lot of fun stories and good memories. And I say good memories.
All right, Pete. Pete, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Grew up in South Jamaica, Queens, which is not too far from here, maybe about 20 miles to the east, which is right in the area of Sutton Boulevard and Lakewood Avenue.
What year were you born?
1941.
1941. Tell me about your parents.
Damn. Both American born from families from across the sea in Italy, and they settled here. And they met, I guess, about 1938, and they got married. I'm an only child of Angela and Grace, and we live well. The area where I lived, many of our people from the towns in Italy came over they migrated there. We had our own community. And I grew up on Lakewood Avenue, Sutton Boulevard, until we moved uptown, a block down, some years later, where my parents bought their own home. We lived there until I was about 23, and we moved out to Valley Stream. I'm still with my family.
Good childhood.
Very good. Excellent. No, luckiest guy in the world. Parents that loved me, doted on me. I was like the little king. So nothing to complain about there.
What made you want to be a cop?
Looking for, I guess, a job where I didn't have to work too hard. That's the truth. I tell you, oddly enough, at that time, just to get some employment, because I was working hard. I was working in an Italian bakery. I mean, I worked hard in there. We made our own bread. You know, one of these classic bakeries. You know, we didn't have machines making it. You did it with your hands. So I wanted to find something to do. And I remember taking the job for what they called a police cadet. Police cadet was like a little trainee, kids that what inserted into the police department. And I took that test, and I didn't do that well. I passed, but I didn't do. But I was so far down the line that it never got to me. So when the police test came, that my father insisted I take, I said, well, if I couldn't really do well on the cadet test, how the hell was I going to do any good on the police test? Well, I wrote like a 96, 85 or something. I was way up on top. So there I am. So now there comes a time in my life where my parents want me to go to school. And I really don't want to go, but so I applied for the job. I had reached a point in my life where I got left back in high school. I got suspended. I got all kinds of crap like that. Now they wanted me to go to college. Nobody's going to take me. So I applied to St. John's University, and knowing full well they're not going to take me. And guess what? I got a letter home when my mother gets it. I've been accepted to St. John's. Now I'm in St. John's. And I'm there for, I get 4 years, which probably helped me become a detective years later when I'm in the police department. And that's how I get to St. John's. So I do 4 years over there, and I graduate, where I was almost kicked out of high school. And now I graduated from St. John's, and I did pretty good. I mean, I did okay, but I wasn't much interested in schoolwork. I mean, I didn't go for the purpose to go to school is to learn, and to learn how to learn. Me, I just wanted to get a degree. I mean, I just wanted to mark time. I didn't even chase the girls around. I just did. Anyway.
You joined the NYPD right after school?
Well, actually, I'm in school when I finally get called for the NYPD. So if I told you, I got there. I finished my third year. Well, I got another part to the story that's interesting. I'm in my third year, and now I get called for the cops. And what am I going to do? Because going to the police department, especially in the police academy, is not going to be easy. And they did it. It was a friggin' miracle. You can't believe it. I still don't believe it to this day. But in the interim, while I'm in college, in my third year, the Marine Corps was coming around trying to recruit people. And guess what? Dopey joins the Marine Corps. Not that, I mean, it was a great thing. I'm proud to be the fact that I got in, but that didn't work out. I got hurt, and they sent me home.
Where's my blood and sand?
My choice was it's another scandal, just silly crap. And it's one that once you admit to getting hurt down there, but you don't know this until you find it out. You know, the motto is a few good men. So if they bring 1,000 people into recruit school, I mean, they want to knock out 500 before just to say they got a few good men. So I got hurt, and it wasn't no big deal. It wasn't a career-ending injury. I went to the local corpsman up at Camp Upshur, right outside of Quantico, and I reported it. And the next thing I know, I'm on a bus to Mainside, Quantico, to the hospital. We're going to be evaluated. I go down with 59 other guys.
You know what?
I'll never forget. The guy in front of me, his name was Cooper. And the doctor said, what's the matter? We're standing in line. And he asked him, what's the matter? He says, his feet. Now, feet were bothering him, whatever. Now, somebody, if you're a doctor, somebody tells you that their feet are bothering you, what do you think the doctor might do next? Take your boots off, right? Never happens. The guy goes, right, sure. So they put us all in a room, and they said, look, if you sign a piece of paper saying that you didn't get hurt here or aggravated an injury, we'll send you to the hospital, and by the time we finish with your evaluation, you may be too late for the officer trainer school. And you'll go to Camp Lejeune as a non. So if you do sign and say you didn't get hurt, you're on your way home. And you'll never get drafted. You got an honorable discharge.
This is for Korean War?
Hmm?
Korean War?
No, this was just at the beginning of the Vietnam War. I'm not that old, but the Vietnam. So you'll never get drafted and say goodbye. And by that time, I says, this is all bullshit. I mean the Marine Corps was good. But think about it. And I went home. Now get this. The police department, who had already investigated me, doesn't know about this. And there's no reason for me to report it to them because it was after my investigation. And when I got asked about it later, I told them I was in the Marine Corps. You what? Where? We don't have that. I was being interviewed for something that I never heard. And the story is insane. And that's it. But I did a bit in the Marine Corps. So now I'm in the PD. While I'm in the academy, I get interviewed. I'm the only Italian guy there. Everybody else is Irish. I said, what the hell's going on here? I found out when I graduated from the police academy, my lieutenant told me they were looking for somebody to go on undercover. You know, with the Italian mobs, the Gallows and the Profacis were shooting each other in Brooklyn, but I didn't get the spot. You know. Anyway, just to take a sip. So now I'm in the PD, working patrol in the 105 precinct. All I want to be ever is a detective. That's all I want. I remember one day I was at a detail, Midtown Manhattan. There was a lieutenant who I didn't know on a horse mounted. Now, with 2 years in the police department, I'm complaining that I couldn't crack the detective. I mean, it was insanity for me. And I never, you know, it's funny the things you remember, because this guy, big tall fella, Jewish name, didn't know me, and he offered me advice. He says, kid, I'm going to tell you something. Anything you want in this job, if you try hard enough, you might get. You probably get. Including becoming the police commissioner. You're just working on it. Says, all I want to do is be a detective. All right. So, one day, a year or so later, I'm driving the duty captain where this lieutenant from the precinct detective lieutenant from the precinct that I worked in is standing in the doorway in the rain, and I see him and I recognize him. I say, Lieutenant, I say, you need a good detective. That's how I got into the detective bureau. Simple as that. He said, yeah. He says, name is Koningsberg. Yeah, he says, I could get you a job in 9 to 5 doing some kind of odd work, a property clerk. I said, I don't want a property clerk. I want to be a detective. I said, okay, kid. He says, tomorrow I'm going to see the inspector for the detectives in the borough office at 103. He said, when you get done tonight, type up a resume of what you've done. Nothing specific, but just, and I'll go see him and I'll give it to him. Got it? So I type up a brief, nothing official, and leave it on his desk. In the meantime, he's asking about me of his detectives. And the next thing I know, I get summons to the borough office to see an inspector. His name is Wolfgang Zangelot. and he interviews me, and I find that they like me, you know. But so they're gonna forward my name downtown for a possible interview. So I go downtown, March. It was Holy Thursday for an interview, and there's an inspector. The people that are going to interview me is an Inspector Paul Vetrano, Deputy Inspector, what was it, McGowan, and Deputy Chief Bluth. And I'm at this interview, and I'm doing very well with it. And when it's over, Inspector Vetrano asked me, do I know who he is? And I says, yeah, I think so. You're in charge of the Staten Island DA's office. He said, no, I'm Manhattan DA's office. Okay. And he says, do you think you have time for an interview? Would you walk down to my office after this interview, and I want a couple of people to see you? I said, well, you kidding me? Sure, I'll go there. And I go and I do an interview with Charlie Garabedian, Ray Gleason, the lieutenant. And I do this interview, and it went well, no big deal. And again, this was Holy Thursday. I'm going, so I go do my normal duties, and on Easter Eve morning, I'm turning out for what they call a late tour, 12 to 8. And there's this guy, Vinny Martucci. He knew everything about anybody. He was one of those guys that, you know, that was keyed in. I was too young to be. And he tells me about it. He says, you went for an interview? He says, yeah. He says, well, listen, I might as well tell you. He says, you went with 6 other guys. You all, the board passed you and recommended that you were for the Detective Bureau. I just wanted to tell you that. But the chief of detectives killed it. No good. So, thanks a lot. Appreciate the information. Very appreciative of the Manhattan DA's office for even giving me the interview. So Monday morning, I go down to Manhattan DA's office to thank them for what they did. At least it's a beginning. Let's see what happens. He says, don't worry about it. So the next day, what they call, I worked the 124 room, which is the clerical office where you took, and the orders come in. We used to get the orders used to come in on a single little folding paper, and it tells you where people are going. And I open it up. Patrolman, PTL, but they were called as patrolman then, not Peter Fiorillo, transferred to the NYDAOS, effective March the 30th, 1967. I was now in the Detective Bureau. That's how I got it. No magic, no nothing. Well, you know, I think it put a pretty good show on. I mean, at that time, there weren't that many people with college degrees, and I had a full college degree, and I knew how to dress, I knew how to talk. Certainly a lot better than I am now. And I got there. I became a detective, and stayed there for 15 years. 1967 to 1982. After about 3 or 4 years, they caught wise to me when they figured out myopic. And I was assigned to drive District Attorney Frank Hogan. Now that was supposed to be an honor. It was, but I didn't want that. I was a detective. I don't want to be a chauffeur or bodyguard for the DA. And he was a great man. And now I'm driving him. When Mr. Hogan's regular guy takes a heart attack, I'm like Ensign Pulver. I know the inspector is looking for me because I'm going to be a candidate to be the new driver for the DA. But he catches me, and I owed him. If he asked me to do something, I had to do it, and that's it. So that temporary job for me, lapsed into the time Mr. Hogan dies. I'm with Dick Q. He's the interim DA. And then Robert Morgenthau. And that temporary job that was only supposed to last a couple of weeks until they got a new guy in became, what, 10, 12 years? And I finally got out. Screaming and yelling, I don't need this bullshit. And I threw away a whole future. That was I went to Queens Homicide Squad, and I was happy as a pig as shit, because now I was out of Manhattan. As you know what, Manhattan's not a nice place to go. Much of my detective time was the bodyguards for Hogan, Dick Q, Robert Morgenthau. I mean, those stories we can't even talk about. So, the police stories, when I became a detective, when I went back to the detective bureau and I threw away my whole future in a post-employment, because I had the world by the balls. I had anything I wanted. I left the Manhattan DA's office. I left Morgenthau. I mean, Morgenthau, I don't know if you know who that is. he's like a major player. Major. And I gave it all up. I said, I just want to go somewhere, mark my time, get out of this job, be a cop again, get some overtime so I can enhance my pension, and I'm gone. And they wouldn't let, and that's what I did. So when I got out there, I'm in a whole new other world with other people, and actually, I don't really do anything good until I'm out of the job and I stumble across a case. And that's a long story how I got there.